Hi, I'm Rebecca Brand, and today we're making fried steak. This steak is not usually tender, but the way I make it is going to make it super tender. We're going to fry it up. And on the side dish, I'm making some pico de gallo with all those fresh ingredients to give it a real jazz up flavor. And for that extra crunch factor, I'm making some homemade, really quick potato chips that are thick and full of good crunch. The ingredients for this dish are beef. I have a tri-tip I'm using today, but in some parts of the country they don't have that. So you can use any big cut of meat and try to get it on sale. For the pico de gallo, we need tomatoes, peppers, I'm using jalapeno, and a pasilla chili today. I suggest you monitor your own spice limitations. That's why I go 50-50 on my peppers. That pasilla chili is just less hot than that jalapeno pepper. That's got a lot of heat. I'm using a red onion because it's a little sweeter than a white onion, but any onion is fine. And I'm using lemons. Limes will do too. I've got big old potato russets today, but any potato's fine. I mean, really, it's your kitchen. Get creative with what ingredients you have. You'll need flour to fry that steak in, and a pot of oil. I'm using a big pot of oil because I'm going to fry them all together just for a time factor. In your kitchen, you just might want to have a little bit of oil in a fry pan. That would work too. Oh, and some salt. Let's cut our steak. All cooks need the sharpest knife in the house. And I found a new knife on the market from King Cut. And with it for free comes the cutting glove. For tri-tip, you need to slice the fat off of it. It has a saddle of fat, and all of that is super tough. You might have a piece of meat that you see a lot of gristle. You got to cut that out if you want a tender piece of steak. I have sliced my hand doing exactly this procedure. There is my scar. It cut right at my finger. When I saw the King Cut knife and it came with that glove, I looked further and I got one. And it came to me in this gorgeous box, nice enough for presents, and what a great present that is. But I really wanted them for myself. I need to cut this 1/8 inch from the meat. You want a little bit of fat for the flavor, but not that much. So you got to eyeball your cut. But look how easy this is coming off as I'm pulling it and I'm using that knife to get that extra fat off. A sharp knife will do that. The other one I was struggling with, and that's when it sliced up my finger. So go all around and slice it off, just like that. I actually have a recipe on my channel for beef cracklins. You can look at that because that's really edible. And it tastes great. It's like a pork rind, but it's made out of beef. I'll have that recipe at the back of this video. And then inspect your meat and see what a good job you did. Well, that's a little too fat. I'm going to cut that again. Here we go. Less and less. That's better. And let's get this flap off. And a little more here. And with this glove, I do not need to be worried about me cutting my fingers. I love this thing. It's got so much dexterity. I never had seen a glove like this before for carving meat or cutting vegetables. This is amazing. I'm saving my cracklings. So we're going to cut our meat, but we want to cut against the grain. Here we see the grain going this way. So we want to cut it opposite that way. It would be simple to cut it with the grain, but that's not going to give us our tenderness. This is the trick. So with my glove on, I am safe to do just that. And there we have it. There's my first piece of steak. Look how beautiful that is. You can see the marbling inside. And this is a very inexpensive cut of meat. But the way I'm cutting it is going to give it that tenderness. So keep going and look at that knife. Cut it so easily. That is one sharp knife. The King Cut chef knife is a professional 8-inch kitchen knife with a sheath. It's forged of top-grade German steel, and they temper it with ice and a vacuum heat treatment. This gives it maximum hardness and resilience. And you know, the best test of a sharp knife is how fast it cuts a tomato. It's razor sharp. So keep going on your steak. Wow, that's just beautiful. This recipe will feed an entire army or a big family that enjoys their beef. And these steaks are getting quite long, so I'm going to cut them in half. Oh yeah, I just love the look of the raw meat. That makes me hungry just making this recipe. This silver skin's got to come off, and it does easily. Here's a shot of that meat for your viewing pleasure. Yum. Inexpensive cuts of meat can have lots of that marbling. This tri-tip certainly does. So take one of your steaks and salt it well. on both sides. I'm using kosher salt. And rub it in. And dip it in flour. This is 1 cup of flour I have here. You might need more if you've got a big roast like I do. And do the shake. On deck he goes. And keep going, both sides. Time to play in the snow. Okay, children, have the playground. Recess is over. I had preset my pot of oil on medium, so it'd be ready by the time I was ready. It takes a while to get that oil hot. This has been heating up on medium for 10 minutes, and it's time to see if it's hot enough. So in goes a crackling. Carefully, drop it in. It's boiling. I think it's happy, so I know it's ready. And when he rises to the surface, he's done. Okay, out of the pool. It's Adult Swim. The big beefsteaks are going in for the fry. Don't do what I do. My grip wasn't good. Slow. You only put in 1/2 to 2/3 pot of oil because, as you see, it's gonna bubble up with all the moisture from that steak. It's been about 2 minutes, and when you see the bubbles go down, that means it's finishing cooking. You're gonna need to check it. So bring them up and take a look. Okay, he's still kind of white. He goes back in. Depending on how high your heat is underneath your pot, you can adjust it up to high or keep it on medium. I've cut the steak about 1/2 inch thick, so 4 minutes is all it's going to take to make it medium rare. The hotter your oil is, the faster it's going to cook and brown the exterior. I do not need my steak cooked all the way through because I like it medium rare. That one's done, chum. I'm going to salt it hot too. I like a lot of salt. Next, and the chubby took a little longer. Oh yeah, and a little more salt. And put them on a plate and give them a rest. And now we're gonna slice our potato chips. So I just go really thin. Thinner is better. With a sharp knife, you can attain that. And the gloves make me hold that potato really secure so I don't cut myself. Pat them with a paper towel because they're a little moist. And in they go, slowly. I like to do the potatoes separately, putting the fatter ones in first, and then the skinny minis. And again, you don't want to overfill ever a pot of hot oil. Turn them around. These will only take 2 to 3 minutes to turn brown and crisp up. When they float to the top, stir them up because they're getting brown. And now the pool. That's my favorite, I think. It's a catch and release program we're on. Oh yeah, I don't want any to get away. Stay on the hook. Okay, last but not least, the fatty. And for extra crunch, you can do a double fry method, which is what I often do. Makes the kids happy. So after cooling, you just put them back in for only about 1 minute. It's gonna brown them up more and make them extra crunchy. And out they come, extra crunchy. The double fry method is the way that the professional restaurants do it. Add your salt now while it's hot. And do not walk away until you turn your stove off. No fires today in my house. So for the pico de gallo, I'm gonna chop up some tomatoes. And my secret to a quick chop is the crosshatch method, where I go up one side, down the other. It's almost like a bloomin' onion, but it's not. It's a pico de gallo tomato. And look at those tiny little pieces. That works perfectly, but you need a super sharp knife to do this. Don't do this with a dull knife. This king cut knife has a wooden handle and it's ergonomically designed. That means it feels super great in my hand. The balance is wonderful. The tomatoes are first to go in the bowl. Now it's time for the onion. When I'm in a hurry, which is like most days, I just cut one piece. Because that one piece slice is really easy to cut in little tiny pieces when I don't need that much. And I go both ways, lickety split, until it's finely diced. For this quantity of tomatoes, I only went about 1 big tablespoon. And how about some jalapeno? Little matchbook strips. And crosshatch again, because I just can't handle too big a piece of jalapeno in my bite. And swipe it in. That's about 1 tablespoon of the jalapeno. Onto the pasilla pepper. And it's the same. From that first slice, we do our next. I can eat pasillas all day long. They're not going to bother me, and they give this recipe a lot of crunch. Pasilla peppers are my friends. In they go. And now it's time for the lemon. I only need 1, so cut her up. I cut off the tops because it's got to fit in my squeezer, and that knife works great. And give her a squeeze. The gloves have great grip. And get the other half too. And this 1 tomato pico de gallo recipe gets 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And toss her up. That looks so great, that lemon juice and the tomato juice. This is going to be a great sauce on that fried steak. It's like a healthy tomato salad you're having with it. So fresh. And I'm going to garnish with a slice of lemon. Yum, we're ready. And after I cook with my glove, and it's dirty, it goes in the dishwasher. Isn't that convenient? Done, chum. Let's try it. I'm cutting in 2 on the medium ones because I wanted it medium rare. I nailed it. This is going to be my bite. Oh yeah, look at that. Yummy. The fatty got cooked on the rare side, and skinny mini is medium. So take your pick. So eeny, meeny, miny, mo, I'm going to go for the medium rare. Yo. And so here's the dippity-doo of the pico de gallo, and it's all going on a chip. I love how this all worked out. I'm having a fiesta party in my mouth. That's amazing. Click link below to get your King Cut chef knife, and it has a money-back guarantee as well. I'm really impressed with it. It's really affordable, and every kitchen needs a really good chef's knife. And a little crunch on the side. I'm Rebecca Brand, subscribe to my channel, and ring my bell to get notified of my new videos. And let's keep making great recipes in life. Comment and tell me how you like your steak. I made enough for an army. Time for lunch. If you like this video, check out my other ones because they go with this.